안녕하세요. 저는 한국에서 온 김하연이라고 합니다. 저는 미국 땅에 산 2년 동안 언어의 장벽으로 많은 어려움을 겪었습니다. 그것을 알지 못하는 이 땅의 원어민들은 외국인들을 무시하고 짓밟고 그들을 이 사회에서 소외시킵니다. 전 좌절하는 외국인들을 보고 언젠가 그들 앞에 서서 우리들의 입장을 대변하고 우리가 다 같이 살 수 있는 사회를 만들겠다고 생각했습니다. 우리가 사용하는 언어는 다르지만 우리는 다 같은 사람입니다. What did you feel when I talked in Korean at the English speech tournament? Were you confused? Feel lost? Did you want to know what I was saying? Were you embarrassed for me? The time that you had to listen to me speak in Korean was considerably shorter than the time that I had to endure and practice English to actually understand what people are talking about. Can you imagine moving to a country where everyone speaks a language that excludes you, leaves you out of everything? That makes it impossible to communicate without doing this, such as, oh, hey, bathroom, where? Bathroom, where? Or, oh, hey, hungry? Food? Where, the food? Natives who grew up watching foreigners like me may start to degrade us and not even try to understand us. They act meaner to foreigners because they don't want to be treated the same as them. However, natives should know that language might be a useful tool to be close among the people who speak the same language, but it is also a factor that can make some people feel separated from the society. According to the Chronicles, the report on foreign students in the United States stated there's more than 670,000 international students enrolled in American college or schools in 2008. There are also numerous foreigners out there who do not attend to American schools but living here to earn money or do other businesses. The United States is growing in its size, but stereotypes and discriminations against foreigners are still prevalent in this society. Prejudices stay deep inside of people's mind and constantly suppress foreigners. We should value people who speak a language different from ours, just as we value people who speak the same language. I remember my first year of American school. At the time, I was a young, tender-hearted, and a shy girl from South Korea. It was only 2 years ago. One day, in my science class, my teacher forgot to pass me a worksheet. After considering what I was supposed to say next, like 10 times, I raised my hand, full of confidence. She saw my hand up and asked me why. I was going to say, "Can I have a sheet of paper?" politely and gently. But instead of saying a sheet of paper with a long E sound, I pronounced it with a short I sound, which made a sheet of paper. I guess I pronounced a word that completely changed the meaning of that phrase. I didn't even know what was going on. Everybody in the class looked at me with shocked faces and started to laugh. My teacher's face became red as if she was insulted. And for side notes, there's no difference between shorter and longer vowel sounds in Korean, so I thought it was the same thing. After I realized what I had done, I was so ashamed of myself and felt so disgraceful. I wish I had a time travel machine so I could go back to my country, Korea, which would never let me down like this. After that day, I felt I was totally an alien that should not be in the class. I couldn't feel any friendly emotions from the teacher. She just gave me a pitiable and pathetic looks. When I recall this memory now, it is a funny story, but it is also a factor that motivated me to become a person I am now. What I learned from it was that some people in this country prejudge others by their looks, ethnicity, and language they speak. When they think a person's different from how they are, they put up a wall between them and try not to get along with people who are different. I personally encounter many prejudices that people have toward Asians. People think Asians are socially awkward and do not try to get along with other ethnic groups. I personally have more friends who are not Asian, but I don't feel any awkwardness when I'm with them. People also think Asian racial features, names, and accents are comical to many. Well, when I lived in Korea, I thought foreigners who spoke Korean with their heavy accents were funny, also their names and appearances. Since we're so different, and we're not used to that differences, we think it's okay to make fun of it, but sometimes it can hurt someone's feeling. And people say Asian Americans are the group which cannot be assimilated in American society. Maybe part of this stereotype is true, but don't you think Asians exclude themselves because other groups exclude them? Because of all these prejudices, I had to get hurt, endure it, and fight back to actually make a space to stand up in the society. I corrected my pronunciation and tried hard to develop my English skills. I finally became able to communicate with natives a little, but it was still hard to fit into the society. By the end of the first year in America, I met the biggest challenge. Our English project was a presentation about Greek mythology. Once I heard what we had to do, many thoughts passed through my mind. Well, I have to stand up in front of natives and give a presentation? What? This is ridiculous. I can't do this. I'm afraid. Because of all this prejudice that I mentioned before, I was ashamed of my accent and scared to fight back. But I had no choice. I had to do it. I prepared and practiced so many times to not be ashamed of myself. It was not a good presentation. I mumbled a little. I made a ton of mistakes in pronunciation. When I finished my presentation, I was shaking and felt tears coming down from my eyes. But when I looked up the class, everybody applauded for me, and eventually I got the high score in the class, and finally I felt that I was a part of this society. I am standing up here and trying to convey what I felt as a newcomer in this American society. People say America is the most open society in the world, but there's still prejudice going on that natives might not realize of. What I think this society should be is, people should look at others' true characteristics. I want you to think twice before you express any prejudice to foreigners. And keep this in your mind. You're the barrier or you're the gate. You choose. Thank you.